I think that I've officially built the world's best controller setup. I believe that I have the best controller, I have the best controller settings, I have the best controller accessories, I have the best binds, I have the best graphic settings. I literally feel like I have perfected my entire controller setup. Now let's hop into my ultimate controller setup, and to start with that, we're gonna take a look at my controller and all the accessories that I have. So first of all, my base controller is a standard PS4 controller. For me, it's a familiar controller layout, and I know the controller is very reliable. I don't have to worry about any delays, any sort of defects, or even the durability of the controller. These PS4 controllers are known to be great controllers. Then my first controller accessory that I have on this is the Extreme Ray Extra Thin PS4 grip. This grip makes the controller way more comfortable to hold, and it actually does help with sweaty hands. And I emphasize the actually there because over the past couple months, I've tried a few different grips, and although they made the controller comfortable, none of the other ones actually helped with sweaty hands. The second controller accessory that I use on my controller is this control-free Galaxy thumbstick. I use the mid-rise one on my right stick, and it just makes it a lot more comfortable, and it also adds a little bit extra height on that right stick, which allows me to be a little bit more precise with my aim as well as more precise with my edit. The third control accessory that I use is my Strike Pack Eliminator. This is an attachment that adds 4 extra buttons to my controller, and the most important part about this attachment for me is the actual placement of the buttons. As you can see, when I'm holding this controller, I can comfortably have one finger designated for each button. I've actually tried 7 total controllers that have 4 paddle setups on them, and believe it or not, I found this like $45 controller edition better than literally every single one of those other setups that I tried. One of those setups was even a $240 Scuff Impact, which I actually have right here, and the main reason why I don't really like this 4 paddle setup is because they're all horizontal to each other, and that means I have to click all 4 paddles with just my 2 middle fingers. I've tried the Xbox Elite Series 2, and these paddles are just way too small and way too close to each other. When I try to use just one finger for each paddle, it's just not comfortable, and that same thing is true of the PowerA Fusion Pro 1 and 2, which is this one. These paddles are a little better than the Elite, however, they're still just not in a really comfortable position, and it's really easy to click other paddles when you don't mean to. The only other good paddle layout that I've found is the Hex Gaming Hyper, which is this controller. As you can see on the back of this one, the extra button layout is pretty similar to the Strike Pack, and while playing with it, I can comfortably have one finger on each button without it accidentally making me press other buttons. However, this controller has a little bit of a weird layout, and it doesn't have any sort of grip or any grip option because obviously it's a weird shape. So that leaves me with my Strike Pack Eliminator. So on my paddles, I use a jump, I use an edit, I use a pickaxe, and then my last paddle is another reason why I like using the Strike Pack Eliminator. I was actually able to bind both reset and confirm on the same paddle. So usually when you reset a build, you have to click edit, then reset, then confirm. But because this paddle, I can just click edit and then click this paddle, and it'll both reset and confirm for me. So that means my resets are like super fast and really easy to do. And I also have to mention that I do not use any of the mods that the Strike Pack is capable of. I know I'm gonna get comments about this, so I'm just gonna go ahead and show my mod central. As you can see, I'm not even subscribed to the mod pass, so there's no way I'd be able to use the advanced aim assist or whatever that stuff is. And if I click on the settings here, I don't even know exactly what this is. I'm on the World War II game default, so I literally never use any of the mods. And if you have a Strike Pack or you get a Strike Pack, I definitely heavily advise that you don't use them either. Using the mods is literally cheating, and it is also bannable by Epic. But with all that being said, those are all the reasons why I use the Strike Pack Eliminator. And the last accessory that I don't actually even have on my controller right now is the Extreme Ray Click It Here trigger kit. On my custom Scuff controller, I got the digital tap triggers, which means that this is literally the furthest down my trigger can go, and that basically just makes everything you do way faster. You can shoot way faster, you can edit way faster, and it also feels really nice to click because it is really clicky. So Extreme Ray has a kit where you have to completely take your controller apart, but I put it on this PS4 controller a while back, and that right there is the furthest the trigger goes down. I can't use that specific controller because I broke it a while ago, and I don't use the Scuff controller because I don't like the paddle layout. So I have my Click It Here trigger kit on the way for this controller, and I'm going to be installing that in a couple days, and that'll really perfect my controller. So that was my controller and all the accessories I have in it, but now let's look at my settings. I'm going to 0.15 slide hold time. I'm going to 2.1 build and edit multiplier. For look sense, I'm on 43% for both horizontal and vertical with no boost on my look sense. For ADS sense, I use 8% for both horizontal and vertical with no boost. I don't use a look dampening time, I play on linear, and for dead zones, I use 10/10. I think that I've been on these specific settings for over a month at this point, and they're not meant to be flashy at all. What I really focus on with my settings is being able to be consistent with everything. So I can have really good shotgun aim, I can have really good AR aim, I can have really good builds and edits and not really mess up all that often. Even just adjusting any of my sensitivities up or down, even just as little as 1%, I'll actually actually start to notice myself missing shots or missing builds and edits. So for now, I will absolutely not be switching off these settings unless I'm trying someone else's settings for fun. And for the gyro settings, right now, I do not use them. For the binds of the ultimate controller setup, I use these. These are nearly the exact same binds that I've been using for actually 4 years at this point. And the only thing that I would consider changing is using switch mode on L3 and crouch on R3. There's some benefits to that, and I might do that soon, but like I said, I've been using these settings for so long that that's going to be a super difficult change for me to make. My graphic settings are optimized for the lowest possible input delay, so I'm on performance mode with low textures. I do use high meshes, but that's only because of the bug that's in the game right now with low meshes. I have my controller overclocked. I have no background applications running when I'm playing the game, and by doing all that, it gives me such a low input delay. And the last sort of important setting is that I use confirm edit on release. I've actually tried a total of 15 different controllers in Fortnite, and if we were to count the different controller setups like this one as well, then that number would be somewhere around 20 total controllers that I've tried. I've also been trying a ton of high tier or pro controller player settings over the past like 8 months. I actually tried to count up how many different player settings I've tried, and I counted 73 different controller player settings that I've tried in the past 8 months. And the only reason that I mention this is so you guys trust me when I say that this is the best controller setup, at least in my personal opinion. I missed my shot. That's completely my fault. If you've made it to this part in the video, let me know down in the comments what your kind of dream controller is. If you could have any controller, any accessories. Haha, let's go with that max damage bump shot. I was out of mats. That is the ultimate controller setup. Thanks for watching. I hope to catch you in a future video.